last week, a long-awaited US government report on UFOs neither confirmed nor rejected the idea that such sightings could be the result of alien life.
The investigation looked into 144 different reports, one of which was made by retired Navy pilot Alex Dietrich, who saw a strange aircraft in the shape of a gigantic Tic Tac.
Now, she's joining us alongside UFO expert Tony Topping, who has dedicated his life to searching for extraterrestrial beings. Good morning to both of you. Morning, Tony.
Morning.
I'm going to start off with you, Alex. Good morning. I know it's 3 a.m. in the morning where you are, so we really appreciate you staying up so late. So in 2004, you were a brand new Navy fighter pilot. You were on a regular training expedition. Just describe what you saw.
Yes, exactly. So we were out off the coast of San Diego on the west coast of California, conducting these routine training missions, preparing for deployment. We were going to Iraq later in the year, and we launched expecting to run our training exercises, to test our equipment, to practice our tactics and maneuvers, and we were redirected to intercept a real-world contact, again, just off the coast of San Diego, California. And when we took those vectors and we intercepted this radar contact, we were surprised by what we found. It didn't look like a regular aircraft. It didn't behave like a normal aircraft. It didn't have any apparent flight control surfaces or visible means of propulsion. And so we were certainly surprised, a bit unnerved.
When you say it didn't behave like a normal aircraft, what was it doing that made it quite strange?
Well, we're used to seeing other similar U.S. or ally aircraft or even civilian commercial aircraft as we're flying around, and this didn't have normal. It takes a bit for an aircraft to turn, to maneuver. There's a certain amount of G-force that limits how quickly you can change your direction, your angles, and this defied that. So it was moving both quickly, but then also having moments where it seemed to hover or pause, and again, changing altitude in ways that it would have taken us a much larger turn radius and time to accelerate and get there. And so this is why it was so unusual to us, and why we felt compelled to communicate it in that moment, to debrief to our intelligence officials and to alert our chain of command that there was something strange both near our military exercise and then near our coast.
So, Alex, I've got two questions. Firstly, from the footage we're seeing there, how far away was the UFO from you? And what's going through your mind? You're a new pilot, and this is obviously this is not a usual thing to see. So, what were you thinking at the time? And I know that you this is a training aircraft, so you didn't have any weapons or anything. Not that I'm sure that it would have escalated, even if you had. But still, you must be. You know, what was going through your mind at the time?
So we were off the coast of California with what we would call notional rounds or training rounds. So we didn't have anything that would be live ordnance to deploy, and that's of course for safety and training reasons. I think in the moment we were just trying to figure out what it was and to classify it. Of course, as military, we're conditioned to classify things as friend or foe. You know, is this a U.S. technology? Is this a potential blue-on-blue situation? Is this an adversary that's doing some sort of espionage activity and collecting on our training, trying to figure out what we're doing and how we're doing it? And I don't think that in the moment any of us thought, oh, we're seeing some sort of extraterrestrial alien technology here. You know, we were really trying to figure out, what does this mean for our immediate here and now, and the vulnerability of our military capabilities, and then of course the vulnerability of our coast.
So when you told your colleagues what you had seen, how did they react to you?
So there were two reactions. The friends and colleagues who, you know, we share the story over beers, and I think certainly as Americans, we're conditioned to classify UFOs as this sort of absurd our pop culture of movies and TVs. We laugh about it. But then there was a very serious track of inquiry and follow-up investigation, because, again, this was a concern of national security for the military, for the proximity to our coast, and then also a safety of flight. So as an aviator, of course, I want to know if there's something in the airspace so that I can deconflict, so that it's not a potential hazard, whether you're a military pilot or if you're a civilian or a commercial aviator. That's a real concern. So that's why we have so many rules and regulations from our Federal Aviation Administration, and I'm sure that you have a similar governing body that monitors things in the airspace for safety.
Yeah, and Alex, before we come to you, one last question, Alex. So, I mean, you didn't really, you haven't tried to profit from this. You never really, you didn't particularly want to talk about it, but you're just sharing your experience now. What's that like when you come to talk about it? Are you kind of met with an open door or cynicism?
Yeah, you're famous now, babe.
Well, this is, I was unwittingly thrust into this. Certainly in November of 2004, when this happened, we were very vocal with our immediate chain of command and our intelligence officials. We wanted to make sure that this was captured, this was noted, and this was compiled with any other data, so that those who are qualified to make the analysis about what it might be or where it might come from can do their job. And then, I went about my life and my career, and it doesn't define me. I don't identify as a UFO person, and I'm not particularly interested in the subject. But certainly this spring, when this DoD report was mandated by this legislation that was passed by our Congress to be released publicly, my name was put out there with it, and I've just been bombarded with these requests for interviews. And I do feel a duty and obligation to respond when we have curious or concerned citizens, and of course our allies. So I'm trying to answer that as again a retired military official who thinks that oath that I took to service requires that that this bond of trust and confidence with those that we serve is maintained. Yeah. So if I just said no comment, leave me alone, that's just going to fuel conspiracy theories. Sure. And
exactly.
Thank you.
So I want to assure folks that these are being taken seriously and that they're being investigated.
Thanks for joining us, Alex.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, Alex.
Go to sleep.
Well, let's go to our expert, our UFO expert, Tony Toppings. Tony, what was your reaction to Alex's story?
Well, what is absolutely fascinating about me and Alex is that we are witnesses to the same phenomena in different levels. She's military, I'm civilian, but we are witness to the same phenomena.
So they can't see me anymore.
The impact of the phenomena just etches on your consciousness in such a way that I even had a tattoo done, just to make me aware.
What's that? Is that what the alien looked like?
Yes. Yeah. There's a.
If you hold it out, you don't forget it. You don't need to tattoo it on your arm.
Well, but I was lucky because I got this tattoo from Sketch. Because they gave me the tattoo because of the extreme life I have led regarding the phenomena and everything else that happened to me.
Got it.
Okay.
So, what do you make of the Pentagon's report? Because when I was reading my notes, it said you weren't overly happy with it.
No.
Yeah, that made me surprised because.
No.
I mean, they
basically neither confirmed nor rejected the idea.
Yeah, so 144 reports made by military pilots since 2004. Only one remains unexplained.
Yeah. But
all but one, rather, remains unexplained.
Let's give a big round of applause to the unsung heroes in this. Britain's DI-55, Defence Intelligence 55, 12 years ago, Project Condign, boom, there it was. Big report done by...
We have no idea.
You have no Project Condign.
So tell us about
okay, so what it is, DI-55, Defence Intelligence Agency of the Ministry of Defence, did an exact same report that the Pentagon has just released nearly 12 years ago.
Yep.
It's packed with information about the phenomena, what they think it is and what it should be. There's even a part in that report of they suspect that the UAP, the UFO phenomena, is some sort of atmospheric phenomena, but has a buoyant energy field to it. And that intrigued the Ministry of Defence greatly. So the Ministry of Defence report, which is on the National Archive...
So anyone can see this?
Yeah, under Project Condign, is a brilliant piece of writing done by a professor. He's in his 80s now and doesn't want to be in the limelight, but it was done by a professor, and it's an amazing piece of work, and hats off to the nice.
So if people are just out there and they want to find out more about this stuff, what would you say they should do?
Well, there's lots of UFO sites out there. There's lots of magazines out there that they can look at. I would recommend, if they really want to have a look at something really good, look at the Black Vault and look at the National Archives. My website as well is out there. And with that, they can get a good perspective of what is going on. The differences, I think, in looking at the UAP studies and the UFO studies. For example, the French one, GPAN, under the French Space Agency, have just released nearly 263 documents and articles regarding the UFO phenomena. That's worth a look.
What I want to know is there aliens?
Yes.
Tony, you
Yes.
do believe
What do you
it?
think he's going to say?
Yeah, and what do you think I'm going to say?
Well, he might say no aliens, but definitely spaceships.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, in some cases, Alison, though,
And they would be flown by who exactly?
Oh,
There's
Tony.
a school of
Thanks,
thinking
Tony.
that it is an atmospheric phenomenon and possibly a form of biological organism.
I want to believe.
Thank
Yeah?
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
You're all right, darling.
So interesting.